What's going on? This is the Broke Genius, and welcome to the life of a broke genius. Welcome to my channel.
What's up? What's up? Uh, just want to give some quick updates and talk about a couple topics. Basically, get some things off of my chest. No chest tonight. Just basically self improvement talk, because basically that's what Kaizen is: continuous self improvement. So basically, right now, what's going on is it's getting close to a full moon. There is still, I believe, retrograde, interplanetary retrograde actions going on. I say that to say basically it's a lot of insanity going on. A lot of people doing rash decisions, just doing reactionary decisions because a lot of times doing interplanetary retrogrades and also with the moon cycle, such as the theory of lunacy, because the word basically comes from the lunar cycle. Okay, so a lot of times, you could ask a police officer, fire fighter, paramedic. Okay, when it's a full moon, do you think that there is something going on? Are you like one of those people that um, can see that it kind of goes crazy when the moon cycle is full, and I bet you some of those individuals, if not most of them, will say, yeah, when it's a full moon, we already know that we need to be in pretty much prime position to handle a lot of things, because we expect a lot of craziness. And yeah, I've heard people myself. So yeah, it's definitely something going on when it's a full moon, and definitely current retrograde. A lot of people don't know about retrogrades. I found out about them maybe about 5 years ago. So a lot of times you can use that to kind of you know maneuver and kind of fall back a little bit, because a lot of times things can get really, really hectic when those retrogrades are going on. Especially, I would even say a Mars retrograde. Mars retrograde, oh my God. You want to be very, very careful of that one. But moving along, I will be dropping another video for animal hierarchies. Basically, I worked on something whereas I noticed a correlation with people and certain behaviors, and it's basically I'm going to be talking about the chicken and the gnat. The chicken and the gnat. So look out for that dropping. Probably drop that either sometime tomorrow, or if not later today. So yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting. Because the thing about it is, I really have quite a small channel, but not really that small. I like to tell a story about basically what happened. When I just pretty much I'd have to look back, but when I just quote unquote went away, I pretty much I came back, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, okay, I got all of these subscribers. I got 5,000 subscribers, uh, like literally within, I don't know, a period of a year, just being my channel being dormant. I come back and I got all of these subscribers, so yeah, I really lucked up on that. I posted some good content that was related to the magical mineral health solution, and how it relates to curing certain things, and yeah, that was what did it. And then my viral video, or not even so much viral, but I would like to say it's kind of like maybe I would say a successful video, because I look at any video on a small channel, especially, or just even, it doesn't really matter as far as channel. If you get a video that's 1,000 views, it's okay. It's all right. You get into 10,000 views, you know, it's okay. It's pretty decent. 100,000 views, that's like kind of a mini, kind of viral type of video. That's a mini viral video. You get into millions, that's quote unquote viral. Okay. 10 million, that's worldwide or nationally viral, and then so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, that was what kind of put me on the map. I swear to God, I didn't pay nobody to get no subscribers, none of that. I'm very well with all of that type of stuff. I don't do that. As far as compensation, I talk about that. Yeah, I'm definitely a money man. I mean, that's damn near pretty much all I talk about, man. That's about, shoot, I would say 75 to 80% of what I talk about is money, finances, and financially related topics. So I definitely like money. But the thing is, it's like, yeah, I don't necessarily make that much money on this channel. This channel is primarily for me to vent, my own even personal therapy, as well as to kind of be a lost leader, as well as like let's just say kind of like a poor righteous teacher, because basically it's a lot of people that are lost in the wilderness, and a lot of people that just are clueless. My way to giving back to what I learned, and also um, getting information from other people that post free content. This is my way of actually doing it, as well as having valuable content on my Patreon. That is something I'll talk about. But yeah, that is pretty much what I do. I do make a little money, I think, because I you never know. I mean, I get an eBay sale, I'll get a couple sales. I used to get a lot of Etsy sales, but someone hated on me real hardcore on Etsy, and kind of like they saw me bubbling up a little bit, and they gave me a bad review. And the person that gave me a bad review basically sold similar products to what I sold. But that's part of the business. Business is very, very competitive. It's actually very similar to warfare. So got a lot of competitors. People do everything under the sun when it relates to making money, basically business. And yeah, I mean, that being said, yeah, I make some little money, man. You believe it or not, I make a little bit here and there. But I definitely appreciate it. If I don't make anything, I'll still do it. Because like I say, there's various many ways why I do this, and a lot of those have not necessarily due to compensation. But moving along, there are definitely more evictions, more and quietly is kept. I haven't looked at the foreclosure details, but you got to believe if there's evictions, okay, so eviction is the cousin to foreclosure. Okay, so once you get so many evictions, you know, cousin foreclosure rears its ugly head. And, they might not be talking about that because they don't want to have people panicking. A lot of times the news cycles are pretty much scripted a lot of times. And, they don't want to really kind of scare everybody, but you got to think when you hear the word evictions, right? You see evictions in news stories, foreclosures is right there. They're in the same family. So with that being said, there's more violence. Mama losing her apartment. We got to ride out. We got to go, make some money so we can give Mama some money to pay the rent. When I'm be honest, you should have been helping Mama out 7-8 months ago, if not years ago, by giving her a little, saving a little money in case for a rainy day. If you living with Mama and you able to get a job, pretty much, I'll say this: in America, some of the most successful millionaire business owners and businessmen, as well as historically, they started selling at an early age or started working at an early age. I fit that blueprint. I started paper route 7 years old, 1987. I had about 30. I remember I had about close to $40 in my pocket, like 30 some bucks. And back then, that was a lot of money, man, to be walking to school with. And everybody was like, man, how you get this money, man? Paper route, man. So, my mother used to help me with it. And man, I ain't nothing but guy, man, that it was about that paper, man, at an early age, trust and believe. So with that, you got people, man, that are definitely in dire straits. And I have to admit to you, man, I ain't necessarily in the worst position, but yeah, man, it's I'm definitely trying to get this house off the ground, all cash, no credit, no loans, no handouts, no nothing, all just based off of my income and my efforts. And pretty much if you follow my channel, I've talked about pretty much people that I'm co-investing with and the problems with that. So basically, I have I'm very much financially distressed. That's nothing new with what I talk about. I'm very open with where financial challenges that I have. But the position that I say that I'm currently at is a lot better than most people, fortunately for myself. And I have been on the other side of the stick where, yeah, I had eviction a long time ago. I had a slumlord and had a situation where I lost my job. I actually quit my job and learned that lesson. And I had an eviction. And but I ain't go out and necessarily stick people up, but I had an eviction. But a lot of people are. That's what I'm saying, sticking people up because they're basically looking at it like I'd rather stick somebody up than be on the street being homeless. And also that is the other side of that coin. You have very very ethical people and righteous people that they just take it on the chin. I post on my playlist. I post videos in regards to wealth and poverty. So I saw an Al Jazeera report where it's a couple living in their car, and this was as of 2 weeks ago. Okay, so you got people, man. It's gonna be more people living in their cars. Um, and also, I mean, now, this is not planned. Like some people, it's a difference between people that do like plan to like go live in an RV or live in camping or whatever means people do to try to quote unquote drastic moves to save money. Okay, um, I may do a video about that and drastic moves people make to save money. Robert Kiyosaki, him and his wife, they lived in some type of van or RV for a while because they primarily just wanted to save the money from what they were, had to spend. So yeah, that is definitely on the rise there. So yeah, 2020. Some of the highlights that I've had, I'm gonna go over some of the highlights. Basically, I would say that as far as my Owls Enterprises, different particular businesses, websites that I have that are kind of all incubators. All of them are incubators. Basically, I would say that what the biggest success I've had was my Owls Herbs business. That was something I launched basically back in January officially. And you know what? Actually, yeah. I launched that um about maybe about November of 2019. Actually, I launched that particular that brand, that website, and the herbs business. I officially put myself on the map as selling herbs, also being a herbalist. I started that last year, and drummed up a little bit of support. I actually got a couple sales on my website. I'm still, in the works of trying to, formulate things and put things together. Because yeah, I'm gonna be talking about that. Where as far as I'm definitely gonna be doing some startup moves, and yeah, Owls Herbs, hands down. Man, between eBay, Etsy, my website, as well as even just friends and family, man. I made a little bit of headway with that. I would have to say that was the most beneficial pretty much project that I've had in 2020. And then here's another thing that I really don't talk, that I talk a little bit about it, but people don't really think about it. Well, I use my herbs pretty much it's like a superpower. I use a lot of the herbs that I have as just basically to help better my life. My life is a lot better, a lot wealthier, a lot healthier, basically because I use my own products. Okay, all of my products I use. Okay, so one of my biggest things that I like is my hemp oil, pretty much. My hemp oil, it it really helps me out because sometimes I'm like real jacked up. I take some of that, and I put my own little spin on it, and it really helps me, man, calm down, kind of relax. I drink a little red wine, and yeah, man, I can just kind of relax and really enjoy myself, man, and yeah, man, that hemp oil pretty much it is really good. People don't know a lot about hemp oil, or let's just say CBD oil. People think CBD actually is weed, and it's not. You have CBD that does have actually THC content in it. Most CBD oils that you see at the gas station, they're not. They don't have very moderately to low grade THC. And I'm talking about like less than 0.02%, something like that, 3%. Like it does not have THC in it, but people are so scared of weed, because here's the thing. Like, I'm in Illinois. Anybody can smoke weed as long as you're, above the age, I believe, 18 or maybe 21. Not sure what the age is, but marijuana is legal. But you still have a lot of young and even old people that are very kind of much against marijuana, against legalized marijuana. I mean, it just, it's funny to me that that's the case. But you still got a lot of people, man, that uh they believe weed is evil. It's like, I mean, they just, they hear so much. And then the biggest one thing I hear people say is that weed is a gateway drug. Here's the thing to that. I know people, even my own, family members, man, that they've been smoking weed since they was in high school, and they ain't no crackheads. They don't take no crack. They don't, do anything related to any white substances, let's just say. And even myself, I mean, I'll be real with you. I've been on and off my whole life. I started smoking weed when I was 15 years old. I've never bought an ounce of crack. I mean, to sell or to use. I've never snorted cocaine. Um, I mean, pretty much. I mean, it's just, as far as things is concerned, it was a long time that I did not smoke weed at all, because I mean, pretty much, I just wasn't into it. Um, Basically, street weed, I definitely wasn't into, because they were putting a lot of things into it. So, yeah, I mean, as far as buying weed at dispensaries and stuff like that, um, there's a disparity of, kind of, let's say, racial disparity with that in Illinois that's rearing its ugly head. And, one of the biggest proponents of that is the guy that actually, you guys, saw the guy throw the brick in the window at the nail shop. I mean, I think y'all call him in the manosphere Captain Community. Well, he's going against these basically in Illinois. Uh, Basically, in order to get a weed license, you got to be a white dude to get a weed license in Illinois. So yeah, they pretty much are on record, seeing all of the people that got approved. Just, they saying only white people can sell weed, basically. So that's definitely a big problem. A lot of, this state is not like Utah or Wyoming or anything like that. So that, might have worked there, but here, that really kind of, it's one of those issues where, you got Governor Pritzker is really quiet about it. He ain't not really saying too much about it, because it kind of goes into the crosshairs of Republican versus Democrat debate. Who's more racist than the other, and it kind of goes into that type of stuff, and you let yourself be the judge of that. But yeah, that's definitely something that's going on. But as far as my successes, that is one of the biggest successes as far as my business ventures. Now, very, very small. Definitely 2020. 2021. I'm gonna definitely try to expand on that in all of my other businesses. Now, another thing is that with the other things in my life, as far as what I do trading. The Robin Hood challenge is I've gotten a lot better with that versus last year. I broke over $40 something, which was what I started with, and I learned quite a bit, and I bought a company that just got bought out. My stock shares diminished. I'm gonna definitely do a Robinhood update challenge, and show what happened with that, and pretty much, man. As far as another one of my successes, I have to say one of my biggest successes overall is my real estate transaction that I'm constantly working on right now. That is that's one of my biggest successes overall, because I'm going through a lot of things and challenges and stuff like that with that, and primarily that's where a lot of my money is going to, and a lot of the money that I've saved has gone to purchasing and acquiring that property, and yeah, that's one of my biggest triumphs, So yeah, with that being said, I've also had personal triumphs. I mean, that is that's great, but a lot of things I don't talk about, even as far as my personal life. I mean, I'll just say this, as far as certain things, I'm invisible. My my personal life is a lot of that is very, very invisible. I'm completely the invisible man for the most part on that. Some of my closest friends and whatnot, they know about my personal life or whatever, as far as things. But I want to talk about also history in class. Okay, so when and then yeah, definitely let me also get some things going, and we're gonna get some cheers for my 2020 highlights. We gonna get that going. So let's get that off the ground. All right. So yeah, so we got pretty much situation is that one thing I have to say, the reason why the way I come off offline and online as very, very someone that's very well cultured, very intelligent, very smart, uh you know let's just say quote unquote bougie. One of the reasons why I am that way, or come off that way, is primarily because uh I know a lot about history. Okay, I know quite a bit about history. I know all of the continents. I know the history for all of the continents, and that's not from just grammar school, high school. A lot of that stuff, they don't really tell you everything when you learn from K through 12 education. You got some good teachers out there. Shout out to Mr. Gertley, my high school teacher, history teacher. He's a very good high school teacher, and you know, I learned most of my history out post high school. Okay, even in college, I learned quite a bit as far as history in college, but most of the history lessons that I've learned was through my own research, as well as my reads, the books that I've read. One of the biggest changes that I made in learning certain concepts and stuff was one of the books that kind of changed a lot of things for me. One of the first books was Message to the Black Man. Um, you know, that book kind of led me on a journey and pathway to kind of like take the blinders off and actually find out what is actually going on with things. You know, um, my mother, she was in the Nation of Islam, and people would be like, okay, well, that's a terrorist organization, blah blah blah. Broke Genius is just nothing but a racist. Well, I mean, you could say that, but I definitely, if that was mentioned, let's say if I was on a panel and someone was talking about that, well, I believe everybody is out for their own particular racial group. I mean, that's just standard. Everybody is pretty much out for them their own particular interests as well as their own little ethnic group. The race theory thing, I really don't really believe in it too much because anthropologically, we're all within the same human subgroup. That's why we can all have children with one another. So I really don't hold strong on the whole racial theory or whatever. Because the thing is that, like I said, I kind of looked at things like everybody pretty much came out of Africa. And when I researched that, that kind of helped me with a lot of the racial undertones that a lot of people actually have. And the thing is that I'm constantly reminded of that pretty much not only that, but my actual research and understanding of history, like I said, of all of the continents, that helped me with actually, yeah, being it. Basically, what I'm saying is when you research history, and Elijah Muhammad, he said history is one of the most important topics that you will ever research. It's like one of the most important topics, that and mathematics. But history itself, I would say history will put you in a particular area of expertise. Like when I talk about the four types of men or women, uh, the dummy with no money, and the rich dummy, and the man with knowledge and no money, and the man with knowledge and money or riches, right? And basically, if you wanted to go from jump up to being just number three, the man with knowledge, but you just not rich yet, if you research and pretty much become a somewhat of a novice expert in history, that alone will put you in that category as number three, as far as the man that has knowledge but no money. Um, you know, or let's just say not rich. Okay, they'll jump you right up there because one thing about history is part of culture. Okay, so when you research old ancient artifacts, old ancient civilizations, and also what actually happened versus the lies that are told, that puts you in a particular instance of you gonna be bougie. You're gonna be a higher class, high cultured individual. Let's just say high culture. Because, for example, I mean, me being, African American, a lot of times, what I see from a lot of these young people, millennials and even zennials, they talk about, oh, that's just a hotel. And when I hear young people that don't never challenge me, because I mean, I'm a scholar and an intellectual. I will, you know, I chew down on them and spit them out, and nobody really, sometimes people are very, very intimidated by certain people, and they just kind of, they stay in their own little cave, in their little cove, and they stay there. But from what I see, as far as the people that actually say this, they're basically, what they're saying is that I believe that basically, of the counter narrative of quote unquote the Egyptians, with these evil bad people, that you shouldn't research and understand. Basically, you should just go to church or go to a mosque or whatever. And the Pharaoh, he was just evil. All these pharaohs, all these Pharisees, they're just evil people, right? Basically, kings and queens of Egypt and Nubia, these people were just evil people. And then basically anything related to Africa or consciousness and knowledge and everything, you're just a hotep. And I'm just trying to be this black white person, and that's it. Like I'm just these people should be discounted and wrote off, and that's it, because I'm trying to build the new black America by also being white and black at the same time. And it's like, that's what I get from that. And it's cool. Okay, do you? But the thing about it is, as myself as being an intellectual and a scholar, I definitely know a lot about ancient Africa, ancient Europe, and basically a lot of different parts of the world. And from what I know about that is that black people were pretty much in every segment of the globe, is including Europe, and all of the ancient artifacts and the ancient art and things like that. And that particular culture is basically a high class culture. So when I say that, I'm like basically saying this, like, for example, King Tut, when he rode out on his chariot was made out of solid gold. Okay. So, I mean, and he had crowns of jewels and all kind of different, pretty much minerals and actual precious metals that if they're around today, they would be, millions upon millions of dollars. King Tut pretty much had a golden chariot. Okay, that just showed how wealthy these people actually were, and that's why pretty much war and conquest is part of of history. And in relation to other aspects of history, such as Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa is on record as being one of the richest men that ever lived. Out of Mali, he was a ruler in Mali. He actually gave away so much gold that it crippled the economy at the time because he gave so much gold away. See, a lot of times the way I move in my particular aura, as far as what I know, a lot of people, man, I get a lot of respect because I could just basically jump on top of people's heads and bounce around because of what I know. At the end of the day, I can navigate pretty well because and blend in just about anywhere because I know people's culture. I know ancient Mexican culture. I know ancient Spanish culture. You know what I'm saying? History. France, Italy. Greco-Roman. Basically history. So I basically all of those particular cultures are based off of the black people actually being there. They don't tell the story of black people being there, but I know they were there. For example, I got a cousin. He's a Vikings fan, and pretty much they don't tell you, but look at the map. The map tells the story, and the narrative is these African black people didn't know nothing because basically the narrative had to be taught. It's like game. It's like one thing about being a pimp and a whore. The pimp tries to make his whore, a bad pimp, let's say, tries to make his whore feel like she's worth not nothing at all. So her pride could be diminished, right? So with that being said, a lot of times you tell people, have them thinking in their mind that, they would just walk around with bones in their noses, and they, never knew anything about selling the seven seas and traveling to different lands and trading and everything under the sun that we know of today. Uh, those narratives are 100% incorrect. And yeah, Africans were trading and sailing all across the world, and definitely they were going up to where the quote unquote Vikings at the time actually lived. And there were black Vikings. Okay, you look at almost any particular group of people, you could just put black on the front of it because they were there. One of the greatest. I date, but not really. But I remember one of these. One particular chick asked me, "What did I like on Netflix?" I told her some other stuff, and I forgot what I really liked on Netflix. And it was right around the time that I first started watching Netflix. I first started watching Netflix in 2014. I started working at I was working at Tiger Direct in northern part of Illinois, and in my lunch break I used to, they had Netflix there, right, in the break room, and I got into Spartacus. So I started watching Spartacus, man, and I was blown away because I'm an ex wrestler. I'm an ex wrestler. I wrestled in high school, and you know I love a lot of the gladiator movies and stuff like that, and definitely that was one of the best shows that I probably most likely I would say ever watched on Netflix. I binge watched the entire, I don't know how many seasons they had, but I watched all of them fairly quickly. And one thing I liked about Spartacus was that it was multicultural. They had it wasn't just an all white cast. And in Rome, there was definitely all different ethnicities of people that you see today. They were there. It might have looked different, but all of nationalities as we know of today were in Rome. So it wasn't just white people, And um, you know, that being said, I definitely am more of a higher class person because I know my history. Okay, and that history is a very, very high class history. So when I move and I walk, I have an air of confidence in me that a lot of people see, and they just pretty much be like, who is this dude? Because that's just what I know. I know a lot. I don't have a lot of false confidence. I have a lot of basically uh, knowledge that I move with, and that alone, even with not even being rich, it makes me very, very much high class because um, you know it just pretty much I look at it as my birthright. My birthright is definitely wealth and riches, but it already pretty much Africa is one of the richest countries in the world as far as natural materials and resources, and that's where I pretty much sprung from my father and also even my mother, because a lot of African Americans per se, quote unquote, that quote unquote are ADOS, it's a large group that particularly write themselves off of Africa, and it's one of those things where I sit back and I just kind of laugh inside my head because I know the game that's being played in their head. They need to go talk to somebody about it because it's like one of those things that it's like a psychological thing that you got to talk about, but they just haven't worked that out, and I guess I understand to a certain extent, but I'm like I look at it like a chess game, and it's like, yeah, you're not necessarily playing to win.
This shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
So I just pretty much that's the whole thing with that. But and yeah, let me get a bomb drop on that one. Definitely is something that needs to drop that one on in there. Let's see here. Where's my bomb drop at? All right. So the next thing is that I'm gonna be basically starting something called Startup School. I'm gonna drop a link in the description when I get done with this video, and basically I'm gonna be starting Startup School. I'm actually gonna be working with everyone, and I'm gonna be trying to navigate this startup space. I'm gonna get to why I'm doing all of this and what's the motive. And basically, shortly, the motive is not to be. I don't want to be a small business owner. I don't even want to really even start off to be a small business owner. I mean, of course, I'm in that group now. I mean, I would even say, I don't even classify myself as a small business owner. These are very much seed projects. I mean, when I had my computer shop, I would consider that's a small business because I was making very much enough money to kind of survive off of. If I lost my job tomorrow and I had no work, my particular websites that I have as far as my businesses, they don't generate nowhere near enough income for me to survive off of. So, but that being said, I'm gonna be trying to basically start up these particular ventures that I have, and get like-minded people to join along and actually decide which ones we're gonna go with and how we're gonna navigate getting these businesses off the ground and getting them generating cash flow. And basically that is what I'm gonna be doing with the startup school. As far as what it says, it is free, so I definitely will be starting that, so. And another thing is basically I just wanted to talk about as far as prime life, basically, or prime talk. I'm basically, continuous self-improvement is what I'm on. This weekend after Christmas, I pretty much I went full Monty with what I needed to do. I got some some work on my truck. I fixed my truck up a little bit better because the brakes was real bad because I one of my pickup trucks I needed to get some brake work done because The brakes were really, really bad. I mean, it was just an accident waiting to happen. So what I did was I just basically kind of just went all out and just got my brake works done and dealt with that, because the thing is I had to haul some things and I knew those brakes were really, really bad. Now the brakes still need work. I need a brake booster, and basically I can work on brakes myself, but I don't have a lot of the tools that's needed, and nor do I want to be out in the cold. Because in Chicago, the temperature has dropped below zero on multiple days, and I definitely didn't want to be out there working on no cars. And the thing is that I'd rather take it to a mechanic because they have the tools and the expertise to get it done in a timely fashion. And I recommend that for people that are just novice mechanics and they don't have the time to work on it. And that's pretty much what I do. Now a lot of times people, they live in like a rural community, like on a farm and stuff like that. They don't necessarily have a lot of money. They got a lot of time. I mean, yeah, if I was like that, yeah, I've been in situations where I had no money and I just needed to get my car fixed. And it was like either I walk or I fix my car. Yeah, I'll do it then. I mean, I remember being in my mom's garage, working on my Mustang, putting rear brakes on, changing the I think the pull brake, I mean not the pull lever for the hood broke. I fixed that. Sometimes when I have to do something, it's a difference between actually not having to do it. So normally I do take my cars to the shop because I'd rather them do it, and then they'll do it at a timely fashion, save time, and just throw some money at the situation. So I got the brakes, they got those on, so I can haul a little something, make a little money, and just get the brake booster put on, and then the brakes will be even better. So I'm getting a little money's worth out of my pickup truck that I purchased. And I've just been trying to think more positive, just be more self-conscious about my thoughts, as well as far as how I see things and how I see other people, and just being like more, I would say, just kind of like less judgmental, just more just kind of like non-reactive, and then also I talked about this before, but I'm going deep in the rabbit hole. So I still watch content from people that are like myself, that I would just say on my level, but I primarily like to watch content that is people on my level, or pretty much people on my level or slightly above. But I primarily have been watching people that on a higher tier level. Like I would say, like for example, it's a guy that I really like following, and his content he's called TJ Millionaire Mentor. He's got a lot of Lambos, and that's one of my goals, to get a Lambo. On my step 10, that's my reward. So I've been watching him, as well as like it's another dude called Will Motivation, and I watch primarily TJ because TJ is on a whole nother level. And yeah, man, I just been trying to kind of like study these guys or whatever, and women, and just kind of see what it's like to be a actual millionaire, to actually see on the other side. Because let's face it, it's not that many black people that are millionaires, or even people in general, white, Asian, Hispanic, that are millionaires. Like, that's it's a lot of millionaires, but like I say, they not giving everybody $100,000 jobs. The whole HVM talk, the $100,000 job thing is like, people really were in a fantasy world about that. And I'm gonna have to say I wasn't, because I'm a person that has been working, for quite a long time, and I've filled out applications for a lot of jobs. And in my particular area, in the Midwest, in the Chicagoland area, you'd be lucky to compete to get a 50K job. Getting a 50K job is like, you get a 50K job and you like in your 30s or whatever, even whatever age, depending on what you got going on. If you get a 50K job, that's like okay. It's like okay, and it's like, that 100K job, 100,000. I've never gotten a $100,000 job. I've never. Um, I've applied for $100,000 jobs, like, but yeah, they're not passing those jobs out. There's not that many jobs like that around, and a lot of those go unfilled because a lot of what's required for them are like, you need master's degrees, or you need, like, they want 8 years of experience and data librarian and all kind of like things that are basically focused on that particular position. And it just like a certain group of a person that will even be able to fill the job. Like my uncle, he's a 100K guy, and even my aunt's husband, he been a 100K job for a minute. He retired, and I'm gonna tell you, like, my uncle, he worked at 3M, and when he left his job, he worked his way up from being a warehouse worker to a data librarian. Before he left his job, it took them quite a bit of time to actually find somebody to replace him. It took someone that had basically a master's degree to actually replace my uncle, and he don't even have a degree. He don't have a bachelor's, associates, or master's. And it took someone on that particular level of experience, as well as educational accolades that the individual had, to replace my uncle. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that. That's what those jobs are kind of like. I mean, they want you to have a certain level of experience. Now, another thing is, okay, the cheat code is, can you sit down and learn code? Okay, if you can sit down and learn code, code is the building block of the internet, computers, everything that you see on the online world, as well as offline. As far as like, you got offline programs and online programs that pretty much people can make to use for primarily for business functions. If you know how to code, yeah, you could definitely make over 100 grand, or close to it. But I'm gonna tell you, IT is very, very, very tough and very, very boring. You have to be able to sit down for hours and work on particular tasks, and be able to solve problems. And it's a very, very boring job. A lot of people that don't have patience, is definitely not going to work out. like that. You're gonna have a hard time. My particular level of focus and attention, I can sit and watch a Windows installation, okay, that takes about an hour. I can sit there and watch the whole installation without so much of losing focus or anything. I've done it many times. Like, it's kind of like the whole equivalent of watching paint dry. To be a programmer or coder, I went to school for programming. I'm gonna tell you, it's worse. You have to be able to look at code as well as edit code, create code, and library functions, data library functions, all kind of like nerd talk, and be able to actually sit down for days within hours and weeks trying to fix code, fix and edit bugs that are in this program. And I'm gonna tell you, it drives someone that is not able to do that crazy, because it's very, very, very boring, very, very let's just say, for a person that's not really into it, and is very, very focus driven, is not easy, right? Because a lot of those jobs get unfilled. A lot of those coding jobs get unfilled. So much so that opens up the also world of outsourcing. They actually have to bring, particularly mostly people from other countries, primarily Indians, to come over here in America just to code, because it's not enough coders in the United States. Now, what a lot of people have done was they saw this as an opportunity and also a problem. Like I say, a lot of what businesses are solving problems, coming up with solutions for problems. So then you see the rise of all of these coding companies and coding academies and stuff, right? Right? Coding boot camps, right? Because the problem was a lot of companies did not have US based coders to fill certain positions. So I'm not sure. I would have to talk to somebody to feel to understand if these particular coding academies that kind of sprung up overnight within the last 5 years, next thing you know, you got all of these coding camps and coding academies, right? Has that filled this void that has been in the United States with these, corporations, with them having a lack of programmers, right? The lack of software developers. I want to say it probably did, but I still see, as far as in my particular, what I see day to day, they're still bringing people from other countries over here to fill that void. So I'll just say it's more coding jobs than any job when you're looking for an IT job, because there a lot of companies, they can always use another coder, because one thing that coders do is they can enhance a particular application. They can create new ideas and stuff like that. That definitely will get you 100K. And it's like, all of that being said, just trust and believe they're just not handing out 100K jobs like that. It just not. So when it relates to actually trying to make more money and stuff like that, you'd be hard pressed. So the thing is that another job that pays like that now is nursing. Nursing school is very, very expensive. But yeah, that's another avenue to approach. But as far as in regards to this constant journey towards continuous self-improvement, I don't feel bad about putting a lot of money towards the particular upgrades that I had to do, as well as repairs that I had to do, money that I had to spend to better my life. I don't have no qualms about it because I look at it as, basically ammo to pretty much be more financially free to basically help in the betterment of my overall life. So if you want to self improve and definitely have better self care, investing in yourself as well as the things that you need to make more money down in the road in the future, definitely take care of those things, and that also can help you in the long run. Because had I just continued to get in that truck as it was, I mean, that wasn't nothing but an accident waiting to happen. So yeah, I had to do something with that. So another thing is you're gonna encounter, and I'm encountering this as well, in your journey towards self-improvement, you're gonna have people that will try to make it a roadblock or make it difficult for you to self-improve, because they gonna be like, who did this guy think he is, or who did this woman think that they are? And it's like, pretty much people can see that you're, trying to let's quote unquote go against the pecking order, right? When they see you going against the pecking order, trying to, do those push-ups, do those stomach crunches and walk those walks and those miles, or run those miles, and you're self-improving yourself, you're losing weight, and you're saving more money, you got more money, and they can see how you move and you walk, and they see your aura is that of confidence, and then you're glowing like Bruce Leroy in Last Dragon. Some people gonna feel some type of way. Lower vibrational people are definitely gonna feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, you definitely are gonna encounter people that kind of be like, you know what I'm saying? What, you think you better than me? I mean, my car, I spent $750 to purchase my car. I have a Mercedes. Okay, I've pretty much upgraded it to where the paint job and other aspects of it. When I get out my car, man, people be like, man, and they don't even know it's an old used Mercedes, but they see that big ass Mercedes emblem, and they thinking, man, this mark is, a rich dude or something or whatever, or he, pretty much when I get out my car, it's like, pretty much this, it's just a bougie dude, yep, this bougie dude. But it's like they don't know, damn, I just got a good deal on this car. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much fix it up a little bit, but people, that's how they look at it. If you got a BMW, you got a Mercedes, you got an Audi, and definitely a Porsche, you hop out that car, man, you gonna get that look by certain people, man. You might get jacked. In Chicago, definitely you got a lot of people get carjacked. I mean, they got a ring of teenagers that jacked a bunch of cars. They caught a couple of them, and they basically gave them a bag of Cheetos, and they told on everybody else. So they finding out about these people stealing these cars, these young guys. So yeah, I mean, overcoming, and trying to self-improve, definitely gonna have a lot of haters that gonna be like, what you want? You think you better than me? And another thing when it comes to prime talk or whatever, is that basically you're gonna have to throw out a lot of stuff. You definitely gonna have to throw out a lot of things because it's a lot of things that you don't need. You're gonna want to put those up for sale or donate them and stuff because it's just not needed. You don't need it, and then these like ways you think, how you think, you don't even need that. I myself, I'm trying to phase out these particular, kind of ways or whatever, and then also, actually getting my mind focused, and that's why I, basically am advocating that if you a person such as myself and you follow my millionaire savings plan and basically if you follow my millionaire savings plan, you pretty much already have declared that you already want to be a millionaire. So with that being said, you want to follow people that are millionaires and billionaires, obviously. um Following people that are kind of like not really trying to self-improve per se, it's gonna kind of, you gotta imagine it's gonna stymie you, because one thing that I mentioned in the book is that when it comes to actually self-improvement and also trying to actually become a millionaire or accomplish your goals and achieve higher steps. One thing that I do is I have a collage of pictures that I basically watch. I mean, I just look at these pictures, and it's various different things that I want out of life and whatnot, and basically people, placing things, and and it's basically I pretty much look at these photos, and it tricks my brain to actually see these things, and I go out and I get them. Okay, I literally go out and get them. I started to see after a year of doing this. Now I'm actually getting these things, and it's like pretty much a moth to a flame. I'm slowly gravitating to getting these things, and just having more out of life by just basically using these picture collages that are kind of like a psychological trick in your brain to actually gravitate towards these goals that you actually want. Whatever you want out of life, you put it in a picture collage, and the amazing thing is that you'll be surprised, you'll start getting those things that you actually want. So once you do that, you'll see that you start getting things out of life, slowly but surely. Now, another thing, like I say, is I watch I watch other people that are already on that level, and just see how they move and how they talk and how they walk. And that's another thing that helps kind of like get me focused and pretty much get me to a point where I can, envision and start to actually see how, I can kind of correlate how I move and how I talk and how I walk, to actually have some type of growth, So with that being said, you know, that's what pretty much I was going to talk about. And I was going to play chess, but I was like, you know what? I'm very, very exhausted.
This shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not about to make a fool out of myself. And, go play any chess. You know, play some tired chess and talk at the same time. I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. So I just was like, all right, I'll just, you know, say what I was going to say, you know. So yeah, that is pretty much what I wanted to say. You know, it definitely was a good year, and you know, 2021 is right around the corner. You know, more money, you know, less problems. If there are problems, you know, definitely more solutions.